Do you believe that pretending can change your reality? Most people would probably say no. After all, we have always been taught that we must achieve something first before we can act like winners. But let me tell you something that may sound absurd at first. Many of humanity's greatest achievements began with a conscious act of pretending. Pretending to be confident before actually having confidence. Pretending to be courageous before feeling it. Pretending to be prosperous before attaining it. It seems contradictory, doesn't it? But I assure you, this is the key that transforms ordinary people into extraordinary ones. When you focus your mind on fear, scarcity, or doubt, it is like watering a plant you actually do not want to grow. Every time you tell yourself that you are incapable, undeserving, or unqualified, your subconscious records these words as commands. It does not question them. It simply obeys. The result is that your life begins to reflect exactly what you fear the most. But when you consciously decide to direct your focus toward what you want to build, to expand, your entire mental system starts working in your favor. This is not just philosophy or pretty words. It is science. Neuroscience has already shown that what you repeat with emotion creates new pathways in the brain, forming new connections that strengthen your ability to act and make decisions. Think for a moment. How many times have you frozen in front of an opportunity because an inner voice told you that you would fail? Perhaps it was a job interview, an invitation to speak publicly, or even the chance to start a new project. Now imagine if, in that same moment, you had said to yourself, "I am capable, I have value, I will succeed." Do you feel the difference? A simple shift in thought can be the dividing line between giving up before trying and moving forward with courage. This is the essence of self-suggestion, something I learned from Andrew Carnegie and have taught to millions of people throughout my life. The subconscious accepts as truth whatever you feed it with emotion, whether positive or negative. If you constantly tell yourself you cannot, your brain seeks evidence to confirm that belief. It works like a selective filter, known as the reticular activating system. It highlights what you insist on thinking about. If you focus on failure, it amplifies your fears and shows reasons not to try. But if you decide to focus on victory, solutions, and the resources you have, this same system begins to highlight opportunities, paths, and people who can help you. This is not magic. It is mental programming. Let me share a personal experience. There was a time when I was challenged to speak in front of a large crowd. I had no experience, and the very idea terrified me. My mind repeated, "You will fail. You will make a fool of yourself." But then, I decided to test what I had been studying and teaching, self-suggestion. For days, I repeated out loud, with all the emotion I could muster, "I have something valuable to share. I speak clearly. I inspire people with my words." When I finally stepped onto the stage, the inner voice that had once paralyzed me had turned into fuel. Yes, I trembled, but I trembled with energy, not fear. In the end, I realized that not only had I succeeded, but I had also gained confidence in myself for future occasions. This is the power of focus. What you choose to nurture inside yourself strengthens until it becomes reality. So I ask you directly, where is your focus now? On the fear of failure, or on the possibilities of success? On doubt that paralyzes, or on preparation that empowers? This is a decision no one else can make for you. Most people carry limiting beliefs that were planted in childhood. Phrases like, "This is not for you, money doesn't grow on trees, dreaming big is dangerous." Without realizing it, they repeat these words as if they were absolute truths. But the truth is that each of these phrases can be replaced and reprogrammed. The mind is plastic. It adapts and learns. All it needs is to be nourished with new words, new images, new habits. Have you noticed how elite athletes talk to themselves? They don't say, "I will lose this race." They say, "I have already won. I just need to prove it on the track." They repeat mantras, affirm their victories even before achieving them. And what happens? The body responds. The mind creates reality first. The body simply executes it. Now imagine applying this in your daily life. Before an important meeting, instead of mentally repeating that it will be difficult, tell yourself, "I have something of value to contribute." Before starting a project, instead of thinking about obstacles, repeat, "Every step I take brings me closer to my goal." At first, it may feel artificial, even like pretending. But remember, it is precisely this conscious pretending that becomes truth over time. I challenge you, for the next 7 days, every morning, look at yourself in the mirror and say out loud, "I am capable, I am unstoppable." Do it even if your mind resists, even if it feels strange. This simple practice will initiate a transformation. It will create new connections in your brain, change your posture, your tone of voice, and the way you approach situations. And before you know it, what began as a repeated phrase will become an unshakable conviction. Remember, your life today is the direct reflection of the thoughts you have most nurtured in the past. And your life 5 years from now will be the reflection of the thoughts you choose to nurture starting today. So I ask you, what reality have you decided to plant within yourself from this moment on? One of the greatest secrets I have discovered in my life is that the human mind is shaped by the environment in which it exists. The ideas you consume, the conversations you have, the people you choose to surround yourself with, all of this shapes the person you become. Everything you take in serves as nourishment for your subconscious mind. And here is the truth. You cannot expect great results if you continue to be surrounded by small thoughts. Perhaps you have never stopped to think about it, but have you noticed how your level of ambition changes depending on the people around you? If you constantly spend time with those who only talk about problems, lack of money, and impossibilities, you begin to believe that growth is unattainable. But when you get closer to those who have already achieved what you desire, who speak of solutions and act boldly, what once seemed impossible suddenly becomes just the next step. I have experienced this myself. When I began my journey as a writer, there were countless voices telling me it was a waste of time, that my books would not sell, and that there was no room for this kind of message in the world. Had I listened only to those voices, I would have given up before I even began. But I made a conscious decision to seek proximity to men of great vision, people who had built empires and transformed nations. I spent countless hours interviewing Andrew Carnegie, Henry Ford, Thomas Edison, and many others. It was not only what they said but the energy they radiated, the silent certainty that nothing is unreachable. It was through associating with these minds that I learned that the word, impossible, is used only by those who are afraid to try. And now I want you to reflect with me, who is around you today? Do you connect more with people who complain or with people who take action? Do you hear more from those who say, "This is impossible," or from those who ask, "How can we make this possible?" Because the environment acts like a mirror, reflecting back to you the size of your dreams. Modern research shows that we tend to mirror the average behavior of the 5 people we spend the most time with. This means that your income, your habits, and even your worldview are shaped by these people. If you spend time with those who do not believe in growth, your mind will struggle to see beyond. But if you start getting closer to those who have already achieved what you desire, your mind creates new reference points. Earning 10,000 Brazilian reais per month, approximately 7,000 United States dollars, may seem extraordinary in one environment, but when you connect with those who earn that amount per week, you realize it is not luck but mindset, strategy, and consistency. Perhaps you are thinking right now, "But I don't know anyone like that. I have no access to such people." I tell you, you have more access than you imagine. Today, you can listen to lectures, read books, watch interviews, and connect with entire communities of people who are already on the path you wish to follow. The secret is not only in whom you speak to personally, but also in which voices you allow to feed your mind every day. Remember, the environment does not need to be perfect for you to grow, but it can accelerate or completely sabotage your transformation. If you want to be great, you need to start surrounding yourself with greatness. This does not mean abandoning those you love, but intentionally choosing which influences will shape your future. I pose this question to you. If your life 5 years from now were the reflection of the conversations you have today, would you be satisfied? Believe me, that is exactly what will happen. The seeds of tomorrow are planted in the words, examples, and company you choose today. So I ask you directly, whom will you choose to keep by your side? The way you see yourself determines every decision you make, every word you speak, and every step you take. It does not matter how many people believe in you. If your self-image is fragile, your actions will reflect that fragility. It is like trying to build a skyscraper on a foundation of sand. No matter how strong the materials are, sooner or later the structure will give way. You may have talent, preparation, and even unique opportunities, but if you carry the belief that you do not deserve them, you will sabotage yourself at crucial moments. Perhaps you have already experienced this, entering an interview room, and even with all the qualifications, your body shrinks, your voice disappears, and the opportunity slips away, not due to a lack of competence, but because your posture told a different story than your abilities. I experienced this closely. In the early days of my lectures, my voice trembled and my hands sweated. I had the content, I had the experience, but deep inside I saw myself as someone who did not belong there. So I decided to act differently. Before each lecture, I would stand for minutes in front of a mirror, repeating to myself that I had something valuable to offer. It was not just a speaking exercise, but a training to shape my self-image. When I stepped onto the stage, it was not immediate confidence that guided me, but the decision to act as if I were already confident. And something extraordinary happened. People believed in me. They believed because even at the beginning, when it was only acting, I was already projecting a new version of myself. What had seemed like pretense turned into truth. This is the power of autosuggestion. When you repeat to yourself, with emotion and consistency, a new identity, your subconscious begins to accept it as real. Soon, what was once merely practice becomes your new nature. But the question I pose to you is, what story have you been telling yourself about who you are? Do you describe yourself as someone small who must apologize for taking up space, or as someone who deserves to be heard, seen, and respected? Because your self-image functions as an invisible script guiding every gesture, and the world only responds to what you show yourself to believe. Observe the language of your body. Are your shoulders slumped or upright? Does your voice come out with firmness or hesitation? Do you avoid eye contact or face it confidently? Conviction? These small signs are not insignificant details. They are indicators of how you perceive yourself. What is truly interesting is that they not only reflect your self-image, but also reinforce it. If you walk hunched over, your mind concludes that you have no value. However, if you stand tall, take a deep breath, and speak clearly, your mind registers that you are in control of the situation. It is a cycle that can either weaken or strengthen you, depending on how you choose to position yourself. Think of the artists, leaders, and entrepreneurs you admire. They did not start out confident. Many of them faced rejection, failure, and even humiliation. Yet they chose to cultivate a grand self-image before achieving any results. For example, Beyoncé recounted creating an alter ego named Sasha Fierce, so she could step onto the stage with the poise and confidence she had not yet fully felt. Over time, that character ceased to be mere acting and became part of her own identity. This proves that when you act as the person you wish to become, your mind learns to believe it. Now look within yourself. How many opportunities have you already missed because your self-image convinced you that you were not ready? How many times have you accepted less than you deserved because, deep down, you believed you were worth no more? I tell you, You are not your past. You are not the sum of your mistakes. And you are certainly not defined by the opinions others hold about you. You are what you decide to build from this moment onward. Every small action is like a brick in that construction. When you rise with determination, allow yourself to occupy spaces you once avoided, and treat yourself with respect, you reinforce in your mind the identity of someone worthy of victory. I want you to experience this in practice. Next time you enter an important situation, whether a meeting, an interview, or even a difficult conversation, adjust your posture before you speak. Lift your head, square your shoulders, take a deep breath, and tell yourself, I am worthy of this moment. It may seem like a small detail, but transformation begins in these gestures. The mind believes what you demonstrate repeatedly. If you begin to carry yourself as someone capable, you will soon become that person in reality. Consider this. Is life truly denying you opportunities, or is your self-image keeping from you what could already have been yours? Life rarely offers guarantees. That is why so many people remain frozen, waiting for the perfect moment, absolute security, or confirmation that everything will work out before taking action. But I have learned, through observing hundreds of successful men and women, that certainty never comes before action. What changes someone's destiny is not waiting for victory, but acting as if it is already written. When you begin to behave as someone who truly believes they will succeed, your mind, body, and even your environment align with this new identity. It is as if the entire universe responds to the vibration of your faith in motion. Imagine an actor stepping onto a stage. They cannot know if the audience will applaud or criticize, yet they enter with the conviction that they are already the character. If they doubt themselves even for a moment, the audience doubts as well. Your life works in the same way. If you approach your days as someone destined to win, you transmit that energy in every word, every decision, and every glance. People around you respond to it. They trust those who trust themselves. I have witnessed extraordinary examples of this principle in action. Before being recognized as one of the world's most influential women, Oprah Winfrey acted as if she were destined for success. Even in the face of rejection and disbelief, she spoke with conviction, projected authority, and showed the world that her voice had value. It was this self-belief, before any achievement, that paved the way for her greatness. On the other hand, I have also witnessed tragedies caused by the absence of this mindset. Mike Tyson, an athlete of undeniable talent, reached the top, but his mind was not trained to sustain such victory. Without truly believing in the importance of discipline and control, he lost everything that seemed unshakable. This proves that it is not enough to achieve. One must already live the mindset that supports the achievement before it arrives. Science confirms what I have been teaching for decades. Studies show that when you visualize and act as if you have already achieved your goals, the brain activates the same areas linked to real experience. In other words, your body begins to prepare as if it is already true. This practice creates new behavioral patterns and increases the likelihood of turning intention into action. This is mental alchemy, transforming desire into reality through conviction and consistent practice. I have applied this countless times myself. I recall a period when I had no resources, no recognition, and faced the disbelief of many. Yet every morning, upon waking, I dressed and acted as if I were already the person I wanted to be. I walked with firmness, spoke clearly, and maintained discipline as if the whole world were watching. At first, it felt like pretending, but I soon realized that every gesture was shaping my future. People began to notice me, opportunities arose, and gradually the imagined version became my new reality. Now I want to ask you a direct question. If today were the day when everything in your life started going right, how would you behave? What choices would you make today? What fears would you leave behind? Act as if winning is inevitable, and watch how life begins to respond differently. Do not wait to be fully prepared, because that never happens. What you need is just one decision, not to back down. I am presenting you with a challenge. Over the next 30 days, choose an area of your life where you feel uncertainty. It could be at work, in your studies, in your relationships, or in any other situation. During this period, act deliberately as if you have already achieved what you desire. If you want a promotion, speak and behave like a professional who already holds a leadership position. If you seek financial prosperity, manage your money with the discipline of someone who is already wealthy. If you seek confidence, walk, speak, and position yourself as someone who does not apologize for existing. Make this a daily exercise. You will see how small actions create significant transformations. I repeat, this is not about deceiving yourself, but about training your mind to accept a new reality. When you consciously pretend, you are simply anticipating the version of yourself that already exists within you, waiting to be activated. And the more you repeat it, the more natural it will become, until the point where pretending is no longer necessary because you have already transformed into the person you chose to be. So I ask you, what are you waiting for to act as someone who has already succeeded? The most important point of everything we have discussed here is simple yet powerful. Do not wait for life to give you all the guarantees. Start acting as if you are already the person you want to become. This behavior will shape your mind, strengthen your confidence, and open doors that you may not even be able to imagine today. Transformation does not happen when you arrive, but when you decide to live as if you have already arrived. And to ensure this evolution continues, the next video is already appearing on your screen. In it, you will take another step in your journey of wisdom and become 1% better than you are now. I thank you for being with me so far, and I look forward to seeing you in the next video, because your journey of growth is only just beginning.